I mean, you're dealing with human beings, and the biggest thing you want is you want your children to get along. I mean, you want that all through your life.
Yeah.
And the estate isn't the only place where you can mess that up, but it's a place where it's a very easy. I mean, I know a number of cases where the people did not know what was in the will, where there were huge sums involved, and within about 15 minutes, each one of them had a lawyer, and they don't get along since. I mean, it's important to handle it right, and it's important if you want your kids to have a certain values. It's important that you live those values. It's important that you talk about it to them, or they're learning from you from the day they're born what you're really like. And don't think that a cleverly drawn will substitute for your own behavior in teaching your kids the values you hope that they will have. And then your will should be in conjunction with that. It should start expressing it, and they grow older, and then they learn to pass along their values in connection with the size of the state. If there's family farms, it's one thing. If it's a bunch of marketable securities, it's something else. But I know one instance by a particularly rich fellow that once a year he'd get his kids together and have a dinner and do all kinds of things to get them to sign their income tax returns in blank, because he didn't want them to know how much money they had and everything. Well, if that isn't going to work, I mean, I don't know what necessarily would have worked with him, but if you want, but Charlie and I have said it, if you want to figure out how you want to live your life, you write your obituary and reverse engineer it. I mean,
well, I don't spend much time worrying about something that's going to happen 50 years ago and after I'm dead. I think if you sort of take care of each day's responsibilities pretty well and think ahead as well as you can, then you just take the results as they fall. So I'm philosophical about it. But I'm not. I think he's fretting unnecessarily.
Okay. Neither one of us are worried, basically. But we plan. We do plan, and I've got a model in my mind of what Berkshire has been. That model has been modified plenty of times over 58 years. The one thing I knew initially or very quickly, was it shouldn't be a textile company. That was an important decision, and we've just played the hand as it come along, and we made a few really good decisions, and we'll never make a decision that kills us. Charlie and I have seen that in our lives. I mean, sort of the prepared mind, the willingness to act when you need to act, and the willingness to ignore it, every salesman in the world, and the imperative to ignore them. And it's one or two things that make the right decision. If you make the right decision on a spouse, I mean, you've won the game. And here's enormous important decision, and you got all the time. I mean, in the world, you got more time now than you used to have when I was a kid to make that decision. And it is really interesting. The thing to do is just keep trying to think things through and not do too many stupid things. And sooner or later, you have a Lollapalooza, as Charlie would say.
Well, it's so simple to spend less than you earn and invest shrewdly and avoid toxic people and toxic activities and try and keep learning all your life, et cetera, and do a lot of deferred gratification because you prefer life that way. And if If you do all those things, you are almost certain to succeed. And if you don't, you're going to need a lot of luck. And you don't want to need a lot of luck. You want to go into a game where you're very likely to win without having any unusual luck.
I'd add one more thought, too. You need to know how people can manipulate other people, and you need to resist the temptation to do it yourself.
Oh, yes, the toxic people who are trying to fool you or lie to you, who aren't reliable in meeting their commitments. The great lesson of life is get them the hell out of your life.
Yeah.
And do it fast. Do it fast.
And I would add, Charlie would totally agree with me, do it tactfully if possible, too. But do get them out of your life.
Yes, I don't mind a little tact. Or even a little financial cost, but the question is getting them the hell out of the life.
We had as much fun out of deals that didn't work, in a certain sense, as the ones that did work. I mean, if you knew you were going to play golf and you were going to hit a hole-in-one on every hole, you just hit the ball and then went in the hole 300 yards away or 400 yards away. Nobody would play golf. I mean, part of the fun of the game is the fact that you hit them into the woods, and sometimes you get them out, and sometimes you don't. So we are in the perfect sort of game, and we both enjoy it, and we have a lot of fun together, and we don't have to do anything we don't really believe in doing. I mean, we are not dictated to by any group, and so we get to follow our own. We get to forge our own destiny, and in a sense, forge the own principles by which we can run the company, and that's a huge luxury in life. And